Hi, I'm Shailin. Recently I did a review of the Japanese Bunka method as a pattern drafting method for busty and plus size folks, and I rated it a pretty high score, basically saying it was a 5 out of 5 on the busty friendly scale that I created. Before we go over how to decipher the Bunka method, I do want to go back and change my rating on whether or not it was busty friendly. I said it was very, very busty friendly and gave it a 5 out of 5. However, I do want to update that and give it a 3 or 4 out of 5. Now, this change is due to the fact that when I posted my results on Instagram, some of my friends with more experience in the busty fitting side of things have pointed out some things that I could change in my draft. And to be honest, a lot of those changes were related to me having a fuller bust. So that's why I am lowering the score. Just because if I had to make changes that were inherently related to the bust, then it's obviously not a perfect pattern drafting method for a bustier person. Having said all of that, I know that some of you have reached out to me and asked me if I could help decipher the Bunka method because it doesn't offer any instructions. So I decided that because I have already done this and gained some knowledge, that I could also impart some of that knowledge back to you in order to help decipher the method and kind of make it a little bit easier to navigate the two pictures that were provided in the book. So for the Bunka method, you need drafting paper, which I like to just use brown craft paper because it's cheap. And you can get a really wide roll of craft paper. I have the 45-inch roll. A ruler, a clear one is preferred. Go for metric because this method uses metric. A French curve and a compass. And you definitely don't want to skip the compass because there are 3 degrees that you have to work with. The two shoulder slopes are 22 and 18 degrees, and then your mid arm's eye dart requires a bust dart angle, so that's why you need the compass. Now we have to take measurements, your bust measurement, your waist measurement, and your center back measurement, and then from there you are taking your bust measurement and doing all of these calculations here. Now in the book it does give you a cheat sheet, and if you fit into those measurements you can use that. And you can pause the video and screenshot this while you're drafting it if you are lucky enough to fit into these measurements. And like I said in my review video, I highly recommend you do all these calculations first before you even start drafting. And then for your waist reduction portion, basically what you're doing is you're taking your bust, you're subtracting your waist, and then you are taking that amount that you're reducing and calculating based off of the percentages given. Here is the chart that they have provided. In green is what is actually on their size charts, and then everything after that is what I've calculated for you. Now that you have all your measurements, let's begin. On the left hand side, we start by drawing the center back length from point 1 to point 2. From point 2, we'll square across perpendicular and draw a line the length of the body width, which is the first calculation we took. Mark point 3 at the end of the length. Then, from point 1, mark a point that's the length of the second calculation we took. Make that point 4. From point 4, we're going to square across a line, marking point 5 using the back width calculation. Continue drawing the line until it's the same length as the body width. Square up from point 3, and where that intersects is point 6. This new line is now your center front. From point 6, keep going up, marking a line using the next calculation, and mark point 7. Back at point 6, square left and mark point 8 using the chest width calculation. Square up from point 8 and square left from point 7. Mark the intersection point 9. Square up from point 5 and square right from point 1. This intersection is now point 10. On the center back line, which is from point 1 to 2, mark point 11, that's 8 centimeters below point 1. Square across and mark point 12. Point 12 shall also be 8 centimeters below point 10. Find the center of that new line 11 to 12 and mark it point 13. Now go 1 centimeter to the right and mark point 14. Find the center of line 5 to 12 and mark point 15 at the center. Now go 0.5 centimeters below that and mark point 16. From point 8, using the next calculation, mark point 17 to the left. Square up from point 17 and square right from point 16. This intersection is now point 18. Now find the center of lines 6 to 8 and mark it point 19. Point 7 centimeters to the left of that is point 20. This is also your bust point. Find the center of line 5 to 17 and mark point 21. Square down to the body width line and mark the intersection point 22. This is going to be your side seam for now. Whew, we are halfway done. Go grab yourself a drink, take a sip, take a break, do whatever you need, and then when you are refreshed, come back to your pattern draft and we will continue on to the curves. We're going to mark the front neckline points. Using the front neckline width calculation, mark a point to the left of point 7 and make it point 23. Back at point 7, mark point 24 using the front neckline depth calculation on the center front line. Square down from point 23 and left from point 24. This intersection is point 25. Measure the distance between point 7 to 25 and divide it by 3. This is measurement A. Now from point 25, still angling towards point 7, mark point 26 using the length A minus 0.5 centimeters. Connect points 23, 26, and 24 for the neckline. For the back neckline, starting from point 1, use the back neckline width calculation and mark point 27 to the right. Take the back neckline width calculation and divide it by 3. That's measurement B. Using measurement B, mark point 28 above point 27. Draw your back neckline by connecting points 1 and 28. From point 23, measure 22 degrees down with your compass and draw a line. Once you pass line 8 to 9, you want to continue drawing the line another 1.8 centimeters. Mark that point 29. Measure that line from point 23 to 29 as your shoulder length measurement. From point 28, measure 18 degrees down with your compass and draw a line that's the same length as that front shoulder length measurement plus the back shoulder dart calculation. Mark this point 30. Now the arm's eye points. Measure from point 5 to point 17 and divide that number by 6. That's now measurement C. From point 5, mark a point 45 degrees that's C plus 0.8 centimeters. That's point 31. From point 17, mark a point 45 degrees to the left. That's C plus 0.5 centimeters. That's point 32. Draw the arm's eye by connecting points 30, 31, 21, 32, and 18. At point 18, we're going to start drawing the mid-arm's eye dart. Connect point 18 to point 20, the bust point. Measure the line, and that is now measurement D. For the other dart leg, on line 18 to 20, use the bust dart angle and draw a line the length of measurement D. At the end of the dart leg is point 33. Finish drawing the arm's eye by connecting point 33 to 29. Now for the back shoulder dart, square a line up from point 14. At the intersection of the shoulder slope, follow it down the slope another 1.5 centimeters and mark point 34. From point 34, mark another point on the shoulder the length of the back shoulder dart. That's point 35. Connect points 34 to 14 and 14 to 35 for the back shoulder dart. Alright, we are almost done, and you can tell that this is a bodice sloper now. All we have to do is continue on to the waist darts. So grab the waist reduction chart that you took in the beginning of the video, and let's finish up. For dart A, square down from the bust point. This is the center of dart A. Now measure 2 to 3 centimeters down from the bust point. You can go all the way up to 5 to 6 centimeters if you have a larger bust. And this is your dart point. At the waistline, measure out dart width A, making sure the line that you drew is centered. So if dart A is 1.5 centimeters wide, then you have 0.75 centimeters on each side of the line. Then draw the dart connecting it to the dart point. For dart B, measure 1.5 centimeters away from line 17 to 18 to the right, and draw a line parallel to it from the arm's eye dart down to the waist. This line is the center of your dart. Mark your dart B width at the waistline, making sure the points you mark are equal distance from the line you drew. Draw the dart. Dart C is actually at the side seam, or line 21 to 22. Again, mark the dart width C at the waistline, making sure that you've got the line centered. Draw the new side seams. Mark a parallel line 1 centimeter to the left of line 5 to 10. Mark it all the way down to the waistline. This is the center of dart D. Again, mark the dart width D at the waistline and draw the dart. For dart E, square down a line from point 13 all the way down to the waistline. This is the center of the dart. Mark a point on that line that's 2 centimeters above line 4 to 21. This is your dart point. Mark the dart width E at the bottom on the waistline and draw your dart, making sure that you connect it to the dart point. Dart F is actually on the center back line. Mark the dart width F on the waistline from point 2 and taper it up, ending between points 4 and 11. There it is! Now you have your Bunka sloper. Now all you have to do is take it, bring it over to your muslin, draw it up, add your seam allowance, sew it up, and start your fitting. Don't forget that your first fitting will not be perfect. However, hopefully you only have to do 2 or 3 iterations of this after doing some adjustments, and then you will have your perfect sloper. Now, once you have your perfect fit, the book does recommend that you close up dart B and dart D. And because the dart points end at the arm's eye, it should be in the ease and you don't really have to worry about closing up that dart and creating any fitting issues, and it shouldn't affect the arm's eye much. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope this video helps you draft your own sloper from the Bunka method. If you have any questions, as usual, comment down below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Happy sewing!